Hello, friends and clients. I am Jennifer Walker Gates with JLW Immigration Law Group, and I am here today to share some information with you about how to avoid expedited removal, specifically what documents you should carry to help you avoid expedited removal. Yesterday, Jackie Watson and I, my partner, law partner, we did a live video explaining what is expedited removal, how it works, what is going on with that. If you haven't seen that, check it out. But in short, I will say that expedited removal is something that's been around for a long time, but has recently been expanded in the way that it's being used. The Trump administration is the first administration really to try to use expedited removal throughout the United States to apprehend and quickly remove people who have been in the country for less than 2 years. So they've recently announced this, and it does impact the advice that we are giving to individuals about how to deal with an ICE encounter. It's no longer simply remain silent at all times, but rather do protect information that has to do with where you are from, where you are born. Definitely don't talk about that. But if someone is asking you to prove that you've been in the country for longer than 2 years, they are considering expedited removal for you, and you need to be able to demonstrate that you do have the requisite time to avoid that. So again, expedited removal is a quick deportation that happens by immigration agents. It doesn't happen with a judge. It doesn't happen after consultation with an attorney. It doesn't happen after a hearing where you're given an opportunity to defend yourself. It is quick. You are picked up, detained until you have a passport and a flight home, and then you're sent. So that's how expedited removal works. It counts on your record just like a regular deportation with a couple of small differences, but it is a real problem if you are wanting to fight your case, you're wanting to defend your case, and you're subjected to expedited removal. It does not give you the opportunity to do that. So we're going to be talking today about how to get out of expedited removal if you are faced with an immigration officer who is asking you to prove your long-term presence. So what we are recommending now to clients and others is that you carry documentation to show that you've been in the United States for longer than 2 years. That can be, these documents can be carried in copy form. They do not need to be originals ever. They can be carried in a folder that you keep in your car. They can be carried in a folder that you keep in a backpack or your purse. They can be carried in photographic form on your telephone. And some examples of documents that are good for this purpose are a driver's license. For people who live in states that do issue driver's licenses to individuals who are not yet documented or who don't have any immigration status, driver's license is a great way because it has an issue date. And if that issue date is older than 2 years, that is a great way to show that you have the long-term presence you need. And it does not disclose that you're not from the United States. So that's important. Same with kids' birth certificates. Having birth certificates of kids born in the US is a great way to show that you've been here for the requisite amount of time. Tax returns are also another really good potential document to carry with you in order to show long-term presence. Mortgage documents might also work for this purpose. Rental contracts, bills, bank statements, basically any document that has your name, a local US address, and the date that is older than 2 years can help you avoid being placed in expedited removal, but also not disclose that you're not from the United States. Now, if you already have a pending case, the fact of the matter is that immigration is going to know your name, your information. They're going to be able to look you up in their system. So if you have a pending case, carry your receipt notices. That is not going to hurt anything if you are in the process already of getting some legal status and you are faced with an ICE encounter. If you are a person who has been in the country for less than 2 years and you have been apprehended by ICE or you have an encounter with ICE on the road or out in the community, that is the only time you should speak to them. If they come to your house, it is pretty much guaranteed they are not going to have a signed warrant. Do not open the door for them, for ICE agents at your home, if they don't present you with a signed warrant. And I promise you they're not going to have one. However, they can still wait for you at the end of the street, around the corner, or whatever, so that when you leave your house again, you are going to have to deal with them. So it's good to be prepared, okay? If this happens and you have been in the country for less than 2 years, the only way to avoid expedited removal is to express a fear of returning to your home country because you will be persecuted in your home country. Okay, that's the only basis in the Immigration and Nationality Act for getting out of expedited removal if you've been in the United States for 2 years or less. So if this happens and you are a person who is afraid to return to your home country because you may be harmed by the government or by other people that the government cannot or will not control, you have to express that you need a credible fear interview. And there is something relatively recent, there's some new case law and some new policy making that says if the person doesn't really shout it out loud that they're afraid, then immigration isn't really going to ask. Okay. So it is on us. It is up to individual being apprehended to say, I am afraid to return to my home country. I want an interview with an asylum officer. I want a credible fear interview. You might have to ask multiple times, over and over. I want a credible fear interview. I need an interview with an asylum officer. I need a supervisor right now. I need this immediately. I cannot go home. I'm afraid. It's really, really important to express that multiple times and make the officer write it down. Ask them to write it in the file, in the notes. They're going to have to ask you to sign some stuff in order to complete the expedited removal for you. So you have the right to ask that they note in your file that you are afraid and you have asked for a credible fear interview. If you do that, you should be able to talk to an asylum officer, establish why you're afraid to return to your home country, and hopefully they will allow you to get out of expedited removal so that you can pursue an asylum claim in front of a judge. Important to remember also that asylum applications have a deadline of 1 year to be able to apply. So it's really, really important to apply for asylum as early as possible after you enter the United States. And that is how to hopefully avoid expedited removal if you do have a fear of returning home. I hope that this has been helpful for those of y'all who need an individualized assessment of your case in order to understand what's likely to happen if you are apprehended by ICE. Please reach out to us. We are happy to provide a very customized strategy with you, brainstorm strategies, brainstorm plans, provide you with written resources. In fact, we have a safety guide that we are providing to friends and clients. If you email us at info@jlw.law, that's info, I-N-F-O, @jail.law, and ask for the Immigrant Safety Guide, we will be happy to email that to you. It has a lot of resources in there for any family who needs to make a safety plan, who needs to be reminded and refreshed on what the protocols are in case of ICE encounter, what are the best documents to carry, etc. So please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We are here to help defend you. Please take good care. Come back, subscribe to our channel, share the channel, leave us comments under the videos. We are happy to respond. Take care. We'll see you soon.